My tribe, who are retired judges, they also overshoot. They also start getting into a debate. They also start criticizing their own people. All these things are not desirable. One thing that all of us have to remember, especially from the legal profession, is we should protect our judges. There is nobody to protect them. They cannot even speak out. At the same time, if at all there is an erring judge, you should be the first one to raise your voice and bring it to the notice of whoever the authority is. I'm not saying you should suffer anybody. You must be facing a number of persons who are unreasonable. Unreasonableness is not a ground to say that he has been misbehaving. But if at all he is crossing a line, definitely you should take it to the notice of whoever is in charge. The level of debate as it has come down in the political sphere is coming down in public life as well. So when you have people who just want to raise some issue by holding constitutional position, all these Aadhaar cards now. Those days, people were agitated as to why Aadhaar for everything. So I was told by the law minister that what do the judges think of themselves? We are running the government. We know the difficulties of people. We are all elected by the people. Why should they start interfering with this? The same person who was a lawyer earlier, a lawyer now. So when you are there in the parliament, your perspective changes. When you are in the executive, you think otherwise. So when parliament makes legislations, what it does is it definitely carries out the wishes of the people. In the United States of America, there is a principle called a counter-majoritarian difficulty. Alexander Hamilton wrote a book, The Least Dangerous Branch. He said that the least dangerous branch in the government is the judiciary because it neither has the purse nor the sword. Purse means it doesn't have the money. For the money to run courts, judiciary has to depend upon the executive. Ultimately, money is sent by the government for the High Court to run here, and the salaries are paid by the government. It doesn't have fund on its own. It doesn't have the sword also, which means it passes an order, it passes a judgment which has to be implemented by, again, the executive. If the executive says, I'm not going to implement, again, contempt powers, etc. are there, but the judiciary doesn't have policemen or judiciary doesn't have army for implementation of its orders. That's the reason why Alexander Hamilton said that this is the least dangerous branch. But when the US Supreme Court started interfering in legislations from 1905 to 1930, in most of the legislations on grounds of judicial review and the due process clause, which we don't have in India, they have started some sort of a philosophy